In this session, we're going to look at setting up Dreamweaver to create our site, also define our asset files, and set up a CSS folder to ensure that we're ready to develop our website. So the first thing we need to do is define a site. To do this, we need to go up to Site and into Manage Sites, or if it's a brand new site, you can go New Site. When you come in, the first thing it's going to ask you is what is the site's name. In this case here, you can either put title of the business, or if you're at school, put your name. Then you need to select the folder where the website's going to be stored. I'm going to select my desktop, and I'm going to create a new folder on the desktop, and I'm going to call it Website, and click on Create. Once I've done that, I can choose that folder. Now all my site files for my website will be underneath this folder here, and this ensures that pathing and everything on my website will be correct, and then I can actually upload the root folder to a web server, and I know that the files will go and work correctly online. Once you've done that, you click Save. We're not going to worry about any servers or any CSS preprocessors, so just click on Save. As you can tell up the top now, we actually have a folder and a site, but there's no files. So we're going to right mouse click that and then go New Folder. One of the first things we're going to set up is the assets. And this is where all photos and all those sorts of things will go. We also need another folder, so click on the root folder again and go New Folder, and we need one for our CSS, and this is where our global CSS sheet will go, and any other CSSs that govern pages. When we create web pages, we'll actually create them in the root directory, so we'll do that now and go File, New File, and we can actually give it a name, and we'll call it index.html. Now this is a brand new file, and as you can tell, it has the basic HTML structure. If you want to adjust the way it looks, click on View and go Split View. I like to have mine with a vertical split, and also I like to have mine with the code on the left hand side with the live view on the right. Now at the moment I have code split view, so you can have the code view only, the live view only, and then the split view. The split view at the moment shows me my code, and if I type in my code on this side, anything between the body tag, open body tag and close body tag will appear over here. So I can put L Marsden, and you can see it appear here. If I change this to design view, so now I have the code on the left and design on the right, whatever I do here appears in the code. So you can see as I work on the design view on the right, it's writing the code for me on the left. This also allows me to use the properties panel to go to Windows and head down to Properties. And then I can actually apply some little basic properties like bold, and you notice that the strong has been added, italics, it writes that for me. And if I wanted to, I can just select parts of it and unbold that and unitalics that. And you can see that the HTML is being written for me. If I wanted to, I can actually put in my own HTML tags like HR for a horizontal rule, and when I click back over on the design view, you can see that. If I change this to live view, this starts acting like if it is an actual web page, and things occur in real time. So if I remove the HR tag, you notice the HR tag's automatically removed. So this allows us to move between design view, live view, split view, code view, and you'll find that very, very useful. So now we have our index, and I'm just going to delete this back. We now have our index.html, we have our assets, and we have our CSS. So the next thing we need to establish, and I'm just going to close the properties panel at the moment, is our CSS. Now the CSS designer is a little bit different to previous versions, and so what we want to actually do is click on Add a New Source, and we want to create a new CSS file. So we can actually browse and select where that file is going to be. So we now have website. I'm just going to click that arrow down so I can see the full structure, and we want it to create in the CSS, and it's going to be called global, and this is going to apply to all our CSS, so to our entire website. So now I'm going to click on Save, Add as a Link, and when I click on OK, you notice it's already pathed between the closed title and the closed head. It's actually given us our link to our CSS page. Now this is our global CSS, and as I go through, we can actually add a selection, and we can actually put in here the type of selector we would like. Another thing you need to realize is once we added the link, it's created a CSS file for us as well. that is associated with this index.html. So now you can see the source code for the index.html and also the associated sub file called global CSS. So you must remember that you need to save both those files for the document to be saved. So it's really important now that you start going to save all to ensure that any files that you're working on at the moment, I really have two files open at the same time and they're all associated under the index.html. And if I was using an external JavaScript file, there'll be a third file here. So remember to go File, Save All. So at the moment we have everything all set up, ready to start creating our website.